What is good, my TNA wrestling fam? Welcome to another edition of TNAIW Reaction right here on the TNAIW channel. My name is G, and I want to thank you for pressing play and allowing me on your screen yet again to talk some nonsense about TNA wrestling. Man, it's good to say that. I am in just a fan mode, guys. I'm just really enjoying the product right now. We'll get to that. We're going to do a review and recap of Impact on Access TV, the first of the new TNA era. We're going to hit some comments you guys have about the state of Impact, and then some little news and notes regarding backstage stuff. But I'm just going to try to soak it up and enjoy this for a multitude of reasons. One, we're going to have a kind of a big announcement next week, so make sure you guys check in, especially those who've been rocking with us for a while. Please do. I want to talk about some things there next week. But also, it's a really good time to be a wrestling fan. Even though we might be losing some people, maybe some people that you wanted to that come in didn't come in. It's a really great time to be a TNA wrestling fan as well. I think that, and that's not me being that blind optimist. I just think from seeing where we were when we started this podcast, the temperament of the product and how many people were speaking up positively about it or sticking up and just saying, I watch it, to now is a really night and day kind of experience. And it's a beautiful thing, man. And I'm really soaking in it. And that's going to carry over into what we're talking about here when we do the review, because Hard to Kill, I thought, was a very good show. Questioned some things, thought some things were phenomenal. A lot of things were phenomenal. No pun intended. Hey, first try. But I thought this episode, this first TNA of our Impact of the new TNA era, was even better than Hard to Kill in some ways, and we'll talk about that in a lot of ways. For me, just overall, yes, for me, and I'll tell you why. Was everything a home run? No, we'll be honest, unbiased, and transparent. But overall, a nice view into what we're going to see 82 weeks out of the year. Take some away for Thanksgiving and Christmas episodes. But we're really excited to talk about that. Excited to talk about everything going on in general, and hit your guys' comments as well. But make sure, if you don't like my voice, you don't like what you're seeing here, check out everyone else that makes TNA content. Keep this community going. Let's keep get this buzz and this steam behind TNA wrestling, right? All right, let's get into the episode review. We're starting off with a Hard to Kill recap. This is our first glimpse of what the graphics and everything will be. I don't think it's the first glimpse of what the intro will be. More on that when we wrap up this review. But I'm digging the red and yellow, the embracement of the red, black, and yellow. That the old TNA aesthetic. I like that. It still has a fresh twist on it. I said my thing about the entryway. I think that still needs to be tightened up. Love that there's a tunnel. Absolutely, obviously love that there's a tunnel. I do have to nitpick the TNA yellow in the ring. It's a little bright. I'm colorblind though, so forgive me if it's not to you guys, but I don't know. That was my only thing. But other than that, all encompassing, from the video packaging to the graphics to the that ring that's floating in the background of the red. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Anyways, I dig where we're headed. I dig where we're at, and I like it overall. So pretty good. We're going to see the system intermingled with this. They're partying in a limo. More on them later. But we're going to start this off with how any Impact should start off from TNA. It's an X Division scramble match. We're going to start off with Kushida coming in here, which I'm really excited about. Starting to see the X Division showcase. Obviously, some people coming in here for different reasons. Vikingo, who's going to be around for the tapings, but not permanently. Trey doing something while Wentz is, doing obviously something else at the moment. But we talked about the depth charts before, and it's just good to see Bayley, who they talked about needing some wins in 2024, which I thought was nice. Kushida in there as well, and hopefully we get Gresham and Angel soon. But good to see the division being represented here. Jake something going to pick up the win. Would still like to see Jake with maybe a Johnny Bravo. I think that works. But I'm happy that Jake's starting to stack some dubs. One other thing, Tom and Matt, obviously we're going to have different venues each week. This one's a 2,000 seater plus. I think the next one's tapings they just did were 400, so it's not going to always look the same. But as far as having that nest and taking advantage of it, where Tom and Matt were perched up there, I thought that was excellent, man. They did that at the pay-per-view. They're doing it here, and I really enjoyed that, man. It makes it more of a arena sports-like feel. Obviously, they used to do it with Joey and, well, not with the Cam, but they used to do it in ECW as well. But next, we're going to get Xia with Will Ospreay, bruv. And I like this promo compared to, ones in the past about who is Josh, kind of Bobby Fish vibes. This one's about, you're not going to be a world beater unless you beat me. That kind of vibe, right? And I really, especially knowing the ending, really enjoyed this from Ospreay. Being unbiased, transparent, and honest. What's with the floodlight in the backstage? I know lighting is difficult, but I hope that's not a style choice, and it's maybe something we can fix. But you would think after 3 months of having time to, maybe this is what they're going with. Not a fan, though. But I am a fan of Xia, and I'm a fan of Ospreay. More on Ospreay later. Here's a little nugget for anyone out there wanting to play fantasy booker. Really would like, if we're going to start using, it seems like we're starting to bring some talent in here and there, new backstage talent. If Gia's going to head to that ring or not, I think it would be cool if someone comes in and starts taking some of her backstage interviewing stuff, and slowly over time she gets fed up and takes out one of the knockouts. We're in a time right now where we can use some knockouts, and maybe I'm jumping too far ahead. But if Gia is going to take maybe the ring or being with somebody, I don't want to say seriously because it's not on her. It's if that's how she's booked or that's the direction she wants to go. I think that would be cool. A nice little heel turn from her, because we always see her so sweet and just taking whatever people say. And sometimes there's the mean Gia that comes out, but I think there's something there. Especially if she's interviewing a knockout who's, whatever. Anyway, Ash by Elegance is next up, speaking of knockouts booking, and we're going to get a little more of what her character is. I don't know the Toni Storm one enough, but I thought it's one of those things that Hard to Kill that I thought was a risky move that wasn't necessary. Especially when I did a little research into the Toni Storm thing, and you see Luther with her, and then you saw Iceman with, her with the same hair. Like, it wasn't someone has to have their finger on the pulse of wrestling and say, are we going to get some shit about this? This is the best way to present her in the and I thought that was a miss there. So it was good to see this with the LTD and all that stuff, that there's a little bit, of a different character. Obviously, they weren't going to rip it off completely, but I just didn't think it was a necessary gamble. But as I was just trying to book something with Gia, we're going to need people like Ash by Elegance to come in here and take up a big part and take the reins a little bit in this division. So I'm welcoming it. I won't shit on anything until it's bad. And if I'm just watching this as someone who doesn't read comments from people, I'm interested. I like vignettes, so I'm interested in this. But I digress. Speaking of knockouts, there we go. So boom, boom, boom segments for knockouts, and there's going to be one more after this, which I enjoy. But Giselle Shaw is backstage, and she's got the X, and she's going to eventually cash in, and Jordan's on her radar, vice versa. Boom. Gail's going to come in, and they're going to tease maybe a face turn of some sort. Once again, I think it would be smart if Jordan goes heel, especially with the lack of depth in the knockouts division at the time. I think we could still finagle some things between the two divisions and make it work. But smart to play around with this idea of her leaving the Shaw Entourage and being maybe a face. Will it work after being a heel this long? I don't know. It depends on how they present it and how big of a heel Jordan is, right? So I'm here for it. We'll see what happens, but it is interesting to see what would happen with Jay and Giselle, or Savannah. I don't know if Savannah's still overcoming the injury or not. We're going to see Jay in a little bit, but just something to keep your eye on. And then the knockout match I alluded to, Tasha Steelz versus Xia Brookside here. And Zia's first match, she's going to get the victory over Tasha Steelz, a former champion and former Ultimate X winner. I don't know if once again, with the finagling of moving around, I'm going to pop these up again because they're still here, so I might as well use them. But when we talk about the Knockouts world, we kind of had Kylan, who we'll talk about her in a little bit about being injured permanently, but we have Jordan and Giselle. You got Tasha in there, but after taking the L here, do we move her back to the tag? That's something interesting, especially with Savannah and them teasing Giselle leaving the Shaw Entourage. So could they finally get their tag team title run as we move Giselle up and maybe Masha or Killer Kelly? We'll see what happens with that. So I think there's a lot of moving around they can do here. And it looks like Xia, they're giving the push to right in the moment. So who knows what happens with Tasha. But my point with being here is that they are giving the segments necessary. They're building the people up that they need to. Xia coming in and getting the victory here. So let's see what happens. I know we'll talk about it in the comments, but good to see a lot of segments dedicated to the Knockouts. Did I like this match? No. I didn't think it was the best foot forward, but this is one of those, see? Look, and that's just in general. TNA solves all. Was this match the best? No. Was it entertaining still? Yes. Tasha twerking, of course. Come on. Xia, having her first match, there's intrigue there. Maybe a little nerves, who knows? But the TNA chants, they solve everything. Even the quietest of things. Would we have gotten Impact Wrestling chants during, one moves or quiet moments? No. But we get them here for TNA. So I enjoyed that as well. But I want to see more of Xia. This is my second time, to be honest. And I didn't think this was the best outing, but I mean, she's young. I love that she's 25 and signed for 3 years. So more power to him. Let's develop her and make every match seem important, I guess. What else? I have TNA Cures All. Ticker. Hey, yeah, the ticker. So I love to see the ticker for a multitude of reasons. One, it's a throwback. They've been doing it for a while, here and there. But one, it's a throwback. Two, it means we have a bunch of dates lined up for you guys to buy tickets for. Which wasn't always a thing, so that's nice. And also because it gives them the ability to mention the largest gates in over a decade, or a decade for TNA/Impact. So that's awesome, man. Great to throw in there and to respect everyone who was there because, as I was saying, TNA Cures All. You guys brought it. There was some questionable chants we'll talk about, but as far as TNA covering it, you guys did it, man. That's awesome. Next up, Mummy Murders. Because, grass isn't green and the sky isn't blue. Stay inside and watch Mummy Murders if you can't watch anything else. Speaking of that, we get a flashback of the Cheez-Its and Joe Hendry segment from Hard to Kill. We get a Hendry promo. I don't know if this is effectively just washing our hands of the Cheez-It dusting or not, but DJ Who-Kid was in there. Who-Kid, rather, in the thing there, in the trash can with I don't know. Love Joe Hendry. Don't give a shit about this feud. Moving on. Grizzled Young Vets, this is only my second time seeing them as well, so good to see them. Was this the best outing for them? No, I thought that was one of the things I won't say disappointed because I thought this was a plus episode for me. Yes, that's some of the nostalgia. Yes, that's some of me being nervous about what I was going to be presented on their first outing, but there's some really great shit in here, so this is... some of these little things can slide. But as far as the negative, these newcomers that I wanted to see say, oh, shit, yes, okay, cool. The depth is good no matter... I don't know if I saw it here completely, but they're going to go against Kaz and EY, regardless of me thinking, super banger or not. Love this, what could be a throwaway tag match, becoming something more important. Now, the whole match, you're going to think, I don't know if it's EY's beard. I don't know if it's the embracement of the world-class maniac or him going a little crazy, biting, the head of the Grizzled Young Vets and so on. But a lot of great little nuggets that made you believe that one, look, I said this on the Hard to Kill thing. It was no harm, no foul that they lost to the system because we never believed that EY and Kaz were going to continuously be a thing. Did they win the tag team titles once? Maybe, depends if you think Super Eric is Eric Young. But we didn't think this was going to be a permanent gig, right? It's just two TNA originals getting a spot on the card together, and at that point losing. But here they're going to lose again, and we get that twist of, oh, okay, this is eventually going to go into a feud, you think, maybe? And EY is going to go world-class maniac, bite cat, vice versa, man. I thought this was good shit. And total mark for this moment. Hitting that clothesline and just, the discus clothesline and just the crowd eating it. Once again, as I said, TNA cures all. The crowd, and I mean that as part of it, that vibe, that TNA vibe and energy with the FU Kaz chants. Awesome, man. And you can really see when a performer is in that moment, and hearing those chants, I'm sure put Kaz in it, because Kaz it was eating it up on the ramp. We don't have that much. We haven't had that kind of stuff in a long time. Have we had bangers of matches where people will stand and applaud? Hell yeah, man. We've been having that for years. Has we had solid television for the past few years? Of course, yes. But have we had moments, a lot of moments, where the crowd on a promo or on a turn or on a something where they need to know the product and react to it to add to it? Have we had a lot of those? And I don't in recent memory. So having this moment was pretty damn cool, man. So shout out to that crowd again in Vegas. Is that where they were at? In Vegas. Anyways. Next up, the System's eating out of Fuddruckers or something. And I don't know. They're eating. Love this group, man. I love this group. Be cool if they're called ZNA. But I love this group. Mark. But yeah, I love this group. Love Miss Champs. I'm a sucker for a heel stable. Like Moose is the centerpiece. Or love Moose is the centerpiece. More on that in a little bit. I got a little gem for you guys if you stick around for the comments. And I love, Myers and Eddie embracing that vet tag role, the professional tag role. And list just adds to it. Sad D'Angelo's not there on a regular, but I enjoy this nonetheless. And these are the little big things you can do with a heel group like that, though, to keep eating it, is have them eat and do little stupid segments. I don't say stupid, but you know what I mean. Little frivolous segments like this and keep them fresh. You don't have to have them out there every week beating everybody, or Moose always, running scared from the face challenger, or, getting away the magic of Ziggler and Nemeth and him already. So, dug that. Speaking of Nemeth, he's going to take us to the Danger Zone. I got to get used to this. I know he's like an 80s, rocker vibe guy, but Impact Zone, Danger Zone, I don't know. But Nic Nementh with the zip zap, and he crosses the line. And I thought delivered one of those moments that made me say, ha, because it was just like the Kaz thing. It just felt like the crowd was there with this promo. Now, did they, for some reason, chant, "You still got it"? Yeah. He does, so that's cool. But in good recovery by him. He's a little bit of a, like you could see him on some Dawn of the Dead or some kind of horror flick. I mean, obviously, maybe I had the Wanted Man video, put that in my head. But he's a little bit over-actor. But he's legit, man. And he comes across as such. And the crowd ate up what he said. They also ate up what Macklin said. And I really, really enjoyed that. And that's one of those notes that I got asterisked here, because the Shut Up Macklin chant. And you don't see Macklin even when they announced TNA in the backstage. He's just sitting there. yeah, I'm Macklin, TNA, right? But he broke. He smiled, he smirked, because and maybe I'm wrong. But I watch for these things, man, because once again, as a performer, as Steve Macklin, who's been world champion at up and down year, to know you're hitting it out of the park and maybe not getting always the reception on these kind of promos and stuff like you think you deserve and you do deserve. It was validation, man. I don't know. I felt like he was validated in that moment. And I love this all around, not only because it puts Macklin at the forefront, with a big program with Nemeth, but it made Nemeth come across as a TNA guy, not just a guy who's stopping here to be part of TNA. And I say that because compared to the Bobby Fish promo that I mentioned prior, or slightly to the Ospreay, who is Josh Alexander, who is Joe Alexander, who is Josh Alexander promo. This was, I respect this locker room too much to just come in and say, Moose, give me that title shot. I respect that locker room enough to say I'm going to work from the bottom up. I just, as a fan, as a true fan of this, eating it. But what a great promo there. We're going to go back to Xia yet again. She's with Jordan this time. And Trinity's going to come in quickly to declare that she wants a rematch next week, which we'll get. I'll just move on because I know we'll talk about it later. Speaking of Jay Vidal, he's going to come out and he's going to quickly talk about he's soaking in the love for Vegas? I don't know, because he's from Vegas and we're supposed to know that. But he does tell us, look, I said this before and I'm going to say it again. I think Jay Vidal has it. I think he has it. Natural charisma, and once I don't know if it's nerves or just energy. You got to remember, guys, anxiety is what we're given. It's the energy we're given to handle a situation or perform an act, right? So I don't know if that's just running through his whatever, but once he nails the mannerisms and nails the soaking in that camera and shit, he's going to be a legit dude. Here we're going to go from JAI. I love the little, the heel turn there and the verbs there and the words in the promo. I can't come up with words. Who am I? But anyways, we go from JAI chants to PCO chants. We get the presentation of PCO, which fits TNA. I think we can clean that up a little bit, but I enjoy it very much. And PCO is going to come out and dominate as PCO does. Next up, we're going to get Motor City Machine Guns talking about their history at Okada, and Okada is coming back next week in that 6-man. In fact, we're going to get that next week segment, which I love, which is that next week. It kind of came with the Eric Bischoff, Hulk Hogan era of next week on Impact, little video packages. But it's going to announce the 6-man Nemeth versus Wentz and Trinity versus Jordan as well. Next week, looking like to be a great show. Oh, and that 6-man. Did I already say that? Yeah. We're at the 22-minute mark. You guys know what's good. Josh Alexander versus Will Ospreay 2 is coming up, and this is a match that had me on the edge of my seat, man. What a damn banger. I mean, I always say this. How do you give wrestling matches the due that they deserve when you're doing a review? Do you just sit here and say, oh, that move was great? It was a fucking banger. That's what I got for you guys. It was phenomenal. And there was the Styles Clash. There we go. Woof. There was just such good stuff to where you really thought that this dude was going to come in, take a 2-0 to AEW. But they do the right thing here, man. And Josh takes the win. He is a world beater now. Beautiful moment. And after that match, Scott comes out, and he's passionate, as I already mentioned. And I want to be real. As someone who breaks his balls about the last time, that was a damn good promo. And it cleared up a lot of things I had in my head, as far as, to be honest, can he be that guy? Is he the Paul Heyman? No. But is he ours? Yeah. I always loved Scott. Since day one, Team Canada, man. Always loved Scott. But to deliver what I thought needed to be delivered was delivered on Thursday night, man. That shit was dope. And, hey, $49.99 Amazon, baby. Prime, you get free delivery. Throw that mic in the air, and he did. And I appreciate, no blink. I appreciate that. And at the end, we get the cross the line music, which I'm going to guess means we're going to get that as our new intro music, which, homer. So this was a home run episode for me from top to bottom. Even the little things that I said were okays or disappointments, if you want to call them that. If this is what we got to look forward to, guys, we're in a damn good place. Obviously, there's going to be things we can do better. There's going to be things we can tune up, or there's going to be more stories we can integrate into here. There's going to be a shuffling of characters. There's so many people on this roster we didn't get to see in this episode. I'm so glad Explosion's coming back. Because, yes, we need more, but right now, if this is what we're cooking with what we have in the cupboard, I mean, damn. I enjoyed it very much. How did you guys enjoy it? Let me know. Make sure your comments. Let me know. Ask me anything for next week. Anything you want, I will answer next week for next week's reaction. But we're going to get to those comments now. As you guys can see there, most of those things on the left will be touched within the comments. So let's start off with comment number 1. Shadowlanes 94, TNA Impact debut show was awesome. It had everything I wanted to see, like new wrestlers highlighting Jake something, really good promos with Nic and Macklin, a heel turn from Kaz, which was surprising and cool, thus leading to new feuds going forward. The main event was fantastic. That ending was sick. I'm sure AEW fans aren't happy about their new action figure losing to a TNA talent. The Ash character, thankfully, is different from that goof Toni Storm. Hopefully, TNA can keep this momentum up. Yeah, man. Good to see that you're loving it and seeing the positives, man, because there was a lot. Like, could I harp on, like, stuff, that, of course, man. But I trust them after this episode that they're going to continuously do what they need to do to keep spit shine in it. So I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I agree with everything there, man. It had a little bit of everything. It felt very TNA-ish. Next up, our buddy Gary. TNA, PCO rules. Yeah, PCO does rule. Once again, love the young Frankenstein writing on his pants. And I love the presentation, man. I do love what PCO brings to the table. It's known for TNA. He is a key rotation player. Been playing too much 2K. Online YouTube, man. That crowd made Dolph seem like a huge deal. They did. And Dolph, I don't know if you're talking about the promo or just the TNA thing, but he worked for it too, man. What a professional. The most important and difficult thing TNA will face is having a crowd. They can make or break wrestling shows. Yes, I agree. When they have a low attendance and dead crowd, they have to dim down the lights and it kills the show. Yes, that is true. Look, I'm disappointed to see that the next one was a 400, but I also know that there was a lot of time to sell Hard to Kill and Snake Eyes. So we'll get there. The ticker's going to help. Continuing the buzz is going to help. And the vibe and energy, no matter if it's 400 or 2,500, that they put, it would have been better if I said 400 or 2,400. It's the vibe they put out there. If it feels the same in a 400-seater, off to the races, man. Talking about podcast. Hey, what's up? Tapping in. Great show. Thank you. Once again, check out all the great TNA podcasts out there. Roger Pace, what's up, buddy? It was hard to see Trinity lose the Knockouts title, but I understand. I hope WWE push her to a title run and win and have a long reign, but not just come back to WWE to job for bigger talents and lose. Yes, always wish talent the best. Look, I'm a firm believer in if you are who you are, you say you are on a daily basis as management or as human beings, no matter how much money is out there or whatever else is going on in someone's life, they'll remember you. Doesn't mean they come back to you for pennies on the dollar, no, but if you're taking your steps up and timelines match up, I wouldn't say it's out of the realm of reality that she comes back. Now, I hope she's completely successful there. That's the point I was getting at. Because even if she is, look, I think we were very important to her, and I think we might see her say that sooner rather than later, right? But it does suck for her to leave. I don't think I think it was a very, very successful run, and I am someone who doesn't like giving our belts to people who aren't non-talents. But if someone who comes in here for 9-10 months, depending on when these tapings end airing, what else can you ask for from her? To stay, but you know what I mean. Great stint. This was the thing I was excited about showing. I'm a Syracuse kid. The moose from the Cuse. I'm an orange for life. But this was in my on my homepage, because obviously Syracuse.com. Former Syracuse football player wins pro wrestling world championship. I thought I was go look at that throwback. Old Quinn there, man. That's pretty cool, man. Dig that shit. Shout out to Moose if you're watching. Awesome. For those of you who don't know the connection, I live in upstate New York. Was blessed enough to go to the Carrier Dome and watch a younger Moose once at a Blue Moon. Shadow Lanes 94, back at you. AEW, not mentioning Deonna as a former Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion on her wrestling debut, says all you need to know about All Ego Wrestling. Wonder if they're still mad at TNA was trending on social media over AEW show on Saturday. What clowns. Look, no mudslinging. I just think the little dick energy is well documented. The question I have is, with Deonna not putting anything out to say thank you to Impact or TNA, which once again, we are a barber's chair, right? You rent the booth, you come there, you put out your best product, and wherever the world takes you, is based on what you do. So she doesn't need to. At the same time, I don't know what's up there. Maybe she did want to stick around and then the money wasn't offered there. I like to take her for her word and say that she just wanted more, more challengers. That's something we'll talk about when we talk about the knockouts. I see it the rest of your thing there. So I don't want to go too far ahead, but she talked about wanting new ventures. It's a huge signing for AEW. I'm going to be real. What she does for that locker room is big, and what she can teach those women wrestlers, if not up to snuff, is huge for them. We couldn't expect that people like Toni, who have the wallets to just buy, maybe not use well, but buy nonetheless, that they wouldn't eventually catch on that, well, shit, TNA is really killing it with these knockouts, and they really get a lot of buzz here. And people kind of shit out how we treat the knockout or women's wrestlers. Let's start scooping them up. It was bound to happen. Camille was backstage at AEW, rumored to be. Deonna obviously went there. Look, I don't know if it was that we had hard to kill up against Collision. And I don't mean that face to you. I just mean if that's it, that's sad for him. I wouldn't be surprised if it was more of we got Ziggler kind of thing. It's going to be hard. Sorry, Nementh. I don't know. Who knows? I still don't think we have a great relationship with them. I don't. I still go back to that Scott promo, how he exited one time. I just go back, watch it. On the TNA Plus app, there you go. With the stage in Tron, I don't really see how they really improved it. I prefer the previous stage Impact was using better, okay? The tunnel is cool, but it seems very empty and hollow. It seems like they scaled back, if anything. I don't know about scaled back, but it lost character. Even though the tunnel, how can you say the tunnel's not? I'm with you. Once they figure it out, and once again, I said that's a big venue. Are we going to be running something like that on the regular? I hope. But let's see what it looks like in these next coming tapings, and we'll go from there. But I do say some character. I originally said like brick and have the tunnel coming through like this. Go smaller if you know. Anyways. As far as the knockouts with King being out for pretty much the entire year with that injury, which sucks, Deonna and AEW, and Trinity probably going back to WWE. I think the division probably take a step back this year. Obviously, it's still only January, but I think as great as Grace is, it's going to be tough to find her opponents on the current roster. Not only on her level, but for an entire year while also putting on great matches. Yeah, that Kylan injury, 9 to 12 months. God, man, that sucks. It's the curse of the who to look out for in Impact awards. What is that called? A curse. It's just, it sucks, man. When she comes back finally, will she be a big star? Yes. It just sucks that as a time where we're losing all those and we're not bringing anyone in. And that's what I was going to talk about, what Deonna said. Deonna saying, Impact's or TNA's not bringing anyone new in anytime soon. Like, it was when she said that on Talk is Jericho, put up some red flags for me. And it wasn't about that they're not bringing in, it's just how she delivered that. And then the fact that Kylan's going down. It was just like, okay. We are where we're at. So we'll see what happens, man. Ash by Elegance is going to have to hit it out of the park. That's a lot of pressure, but I hope she does. I think Jordan's going to have to turn heel here. Giselle being face, could that be something? Possibly. Tasha's always, I think, should be relevant in this picture, but if she's not, put her back with Savannah, you got another tag team. You got MK Ultra. If they stay apart, that's a blood feud there that can elevate one of them into this picture. Masha and Killer Kelly both should be Knockouts champions within this year or beyond. So I think the depth's there, and you know, Xia Brookside they're bringing up. So Danny Luna, Jody Threat, there's still people there, but it's going to be a depth-growing year, unfortunately. I thought Camille could help with that. Obviously, Mercedes could have, but Kylan's injury, and then you know, Mickey not coming back, and Taylor's injury as well. So yeah, man, it is in a spot, but the talent's still there. It just, we got to figure out how to utilize it to the best ability, so you're not stretching it too thin. Yeah, it's rough, man. It's rough, but we'll see. I think there's a will, there's a way, and if anyone can figure it out, it's TNA Impact. And once again, with those tag titles, we might be looking at something I forgot to mention. Crazy Steve, DMC champion, Decay coming back. Is there a connection there? Are we going to be focusing more on something I alluded to before, which was that Bunny and Su Yung coming? I don't know. I think we could go to the Undead Realm for a while with this Knockouts World tag. So maybe we can, you know, fill up that Knockouts World in the meantime. Can I answer everything? Yeah, I don't know. We're getting on the 40-minute mark. Let's keep going here. Oh, is that it? All right, guys. Well, perfect. Hey, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed rocking with me. I appreciate you not only for this episode, but for the 4+ years of doing this. I'm really happy to be enjoying this as a fan again. I'm going to slip these in because I forgot about them. But backstage talent, there's talent coming in, there's talent coming out. But I'm excited to see who they start, you know, piecing together, putting that rocket behind. And could it be some of this new talent that was backstage? Mace and Mansoor, I don't know too much. They seem like entertaining dudes, just maybe stuck with the bad gimmick at the time. So could they bring something to the table if they're signed? Alex Zane, who's been in and out before. Could we see him getting another run here? I know there's spoiler free. I know there's some other talent that did debut. So let's see where we play out, but I'm excited to see where that goes. I'm excited to see where TNA goes, but once again, if this is any example, we're in a great place. I'm all over the place, but I got a lot going on. More on that next week. I hope you guys join me for that. I appreciate you for joining me for this one. Have a great night. Thank you for coming out. God bless and good night. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Bye.